We are joined by Solly Malatsi DA National spokesperson from our Sea Point studios in Cape Town. We thank you very much for your time this evening. Well, firstly, opposition has slammed the DA's Cape Town candidate, even describing it as lousy. What is the DA's backing behind the choice of Dan Plato as the mayor of Cape Town?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. I mean, the logic is quite simple. There is a lengthy internal process that the party initiated following the announcement that Patricia de Lille will be vacating her role at the end of October. The federal executive of the party appointed a selection panel to lead that process. Several individuals, as is the cause in the party, raised their hands, and they were taken through a rigorous process of interviews and presentations on what they would offer should they be elected mayor. Dan Plato emerged as the high-ranking individual from that selection panel, and federal executive accepted the outcome of that selection panel. Dan Plato has served extensively in government, both previously as mayor of Cape Town and as the MEC in the Western Cape provincial government. And he has the right expertise to lead the city of Cape Town to continue to deliver at the levels that we expect of a DA mayor.
But the Cape Town city saga with regards to the toilets under his governance would prove otherwise, would that not?
Come again?
In terms of the backlash that Dan Plato had with the pit toilets and the quality under his governance, would that not suggest otherwise?
None at all. Over and beyond that issue, Dan Plato during his time was at the forefront of driving, major investment in terms of basic services infrastructure in the city of Cape Town, and that record is well known. It was also during his tenure that the city of Cape Town's financial standing remained at high levels, that the city's delivery of water, sanitation, and even making provision for the indigent in the city of Cape Town rose and was stable.
Let's have a look now at the other candidates-elect, so that for the position of Western Cape Premier. DA leader Mmusi Maimane's announcement was quite unexpected this past Sunday, but also came across as very confident. Why the sudden decision to drop out of the race and decline?
Just to correct, he was never in the race at all, so he did not drop out of the race. What had happened was that while the process was approaching its finality, there were several structures that approached Mr. Maimane to consider the possibility of whether or not he would stand as a potential candidate for the Premier of the Western Cape. He resolved not to, and he expressed that decision to a meeting of the federal executive of the party, which is the highest decision-making body of the party in between congresses. That meeting took place yesterday in Cape Town, and it was at the first opportunity that the leader shared with the rest of the senior leadership the advances that had been made to him to consider standing. He has resolved not to stand because his #1 priority remains leading the party's national election campaign, which is to build one South Africa for all. And we now have a premier candidate in the form of Alan Winde, and all our efforts are going towards supporting Alan Winde as the Premier of the Western Cape and ensuring that Mr. Maimane's efforts are focused on leading our national election campaign.
All right, we're going to get to Mr. Winde in just a bit. We do know that the announcement of the Premier candidate was initially set for Sunday and then it was postponed. Why?
The reason for the postponement is simple. In a political party, there will always be ongoing lobbying. So part of the reason was that the leader felt it was important to discuss and share with the senior leadership of the party in the form of the federal executive the request which had been made towards him to consider standing for the Premier. And logistically, the only time that all the members of the federal executive could gather from across the breadth of the country was on the Tuesday morning, and that is why that decision on the announcement was deferred to, after that federal executive meeting, because the leader wanted an opportunity to share with the senior leadership of the party the request which had been put to him, but more importantly, to express his decision, which was he had resolved after careful consideration not to accept that request, so that he again focuses on driving our national election campaign.
In terms of the Premier and that candidacy collect, Maimane's actual initial consideration of actually wanting to possibly accept a Premier nomination was somewhat suggestive that there was no other fit person to strengthen or lead the DA as Premier in the Western Cape. Why were the other options like Alan Winde and the likes not opted for in the first place?
I think that is correct. Alan Winde has always been a potential candidate because he was one of the people that had raised their hands from the onset, and in fact, he had remained throughout one of the nominees for the premiership. So, and if you also look at the caliber of the people that had applied together with Alan Winde, it shows that there is depth of leadership. I mean, part of the people who had expressed their interest in being the Premier of the Western Cape include the Western Cape leader, Nkosi Madikizela, includes a member of Parliament, David Menya, and Alan Winde, who's currently serving MEC. So that shows you the depth that the leadership of the party has, and from that depth, we're able to select Alan Winde through that rigorous selection process.
All right, so we thank you very much for your time this evening. That was Solly Malatsi, the DA National spokesperson. For more on the DA candidate nominations, both the Western Cape Premier as well as the Mayor of Cape Town.